American Fork High School for High School Rewind's coverage of the 2015 Utah Elite Eight Basketball Tournament, brought to you on highschoolrewind.com. I am Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us. Got a fun matchup for you today between Layton and Mountain Crest. Two teams who lost tough games last night. Layton, the reigning 5A champions, going through a lot of turnover and a lot of change for Coach Kelby Miller. Going to have some guys hopefully coming back. Thought we saw Julian Blackman before the game. Maybe he'll play, maybe he won't. They have some other guys going to step up and play as well. Boston Armistead is a guy returning from last year's team, has played well. But Jacoby Camp had a very good first quarter last night in the game against Copper Hills. The guy's in foul trouble, didn't really get back into rhythm after that. But he has the ability to do a lot of good things for Coach Miller and a team in Layton who's trying to get back on the right side of things. Is now the season will get a little bit closer, but of course it's region play that matters. But things like this weekend and this tournament are good for his team. Then look at Coach Grady Buckmiller and the Mountain Crest Mustangs. They did everything they needed to do to beat American Fork, but didn't get the job done. Didn't rebound down the stretch, missed some opportunities. But for Coach Buckmiller, I talked to him last night and said, hey, we've got to rebound. We can finish. Jackson Brenchley is the key for Mountain Crest. He's an outstanding ball player, number 23. He's a point forward, handles the ball really well. Does a great job for Coach Buckmiller. He's been offered by Utah State and UVU. He's a kid that has a lot of talent. It should be a lot of fun to see these two teams. We know who to look out for. We'll give you a couple of keys to the game. We'll talk a lot about these teams throughout the broadcast. You are watching the Utah Elite Eight Basketball Tournament right here on highschoolrewind.com. It'll be Obrey jumping up against Nethercott. And it'll be controlled by Layton out of bounds. And from the very beginning, Lavani Damouni in foul trouble. He was in foul trouble all last night against American Fork. And just to get started here, Lavani Damouni picks up his first foul. So we're 1 second into the game and the first team foul on Mountain Crest. So up the floor we go with Boston Armistead. Talk about the first quarter, really sharp last night against Copper Hills. The second quarter was a big run for the Grizzlies. There's a steal by Nethercott. Kai Nethercott got caught in between steps. Brenchley will clean it up on the offensive board, and it's 2-0 Mountain Crest. Of course, the Mustangs, they moved into 5A and part of Region 1, essentially old Region 5, now just moving up a class with a couple of new teams in there. Layton moves from Region 1 to Region 2. We'll have to deal with Davis, an old foe. A rip by Dawson. He goes the other way, misses the bunny. A wide open layup, couldn't finish it. Out of bounds off of Chandler Obrey, and we will stay with the Mustangs. Couldn't miss the wide open, or couldn't make the wide open layup. We'll stay with the Mustangs. Damouni, baseline J. And it's 4-0 Mountain Crest. Here's Armistead on the angle with Dallin Watts. Had a frustrating offensive night last night, speaking of Watts. That was Clayton, now to Armistead. Underneath to Obrey. Sent out to Clayton. Jaron loses the handle. Ripped by Brenchley. Brenchley on the push. He's got Armistead on his hip. Couldn't get it to go. And rebound out of bounds off of Jensen. And we will go the other way with Layton. Here's Armistead. Cross to Clayton. Boston for three. Back rim and rebound to Obrey. Obrey floated, left it well short, and we got a foul on the rebound. That'll go against Layton. Must have said something amusing. Full court pressure from Layton. Jansen ahead, Damouni. Lavani Damouni goes to the rack and finishes. Thought that ball might crawl off, but a nice finish by Lavani Damouni. Also a football player for these Mustangs. Cross court to Jaron Clayton. And Clayton is tied up by Landon Jensen. And the possession arrow belongs to Mountain Crest. It's up the floor, Jackson Brenchley. Now Jensen. Here's Dawson. Outside Jensen. Three is off the mark, out of bounds off to Mooney. And we'll go the other way with Layton. Here's Armistead. In the corner to Watts. Up top, Armitstead on the drive. Nice defense from Mountain Crest. Hedge him off. Brenchley nearly had the rip. Armitstead, baseline jumper, but he's fouled. And Lavani Damouni, just like that, has 2 fouls, just like he did last night. Foul trouble in the first quarter. Armitstead gets Layton on the board. Rattles home the second. 6-2 after the free throws. Quip the floor with Brenchley. Pressure by Clayton. Nice take to the hole. Get around Kemp. No call on the contact. Now quickly down the floor with the Lancers. Nice job by Dawson. Brenchley to the hole. Blocked by Obrey. Chandler Obrey comes away with the swat and will stay with the Mustangs. Jensen working on Armitstead. He got a foul on the floor. And it'll be the second team foul on the Lancers. Inbound to Dawson. Got it over Obrey, and it crawls off. Jensen with the board and the bucket. And a quick 8-2 start for the Mustangs. 4:15 remaining in the first quarter. Armitstead gets that ball over to Clayton, who knocks down the jumper. Halfway through the first. Here's Jensen. Hands back to Walentine. Walentine is fouled on the drive. It'll be 2 free throws for Theron Walentine. Tanner Schwab comes on for Coach Buckmiller. As Brenchley will take his seat. Schwab, of course, the star quarterback for the Mustangs. Back rims his second. Nethercott got the board, handcuffed Jensen on the pass, and Jensen gets away with some contact there. Feels like a frustration foul, but it wasn't whistled. Obrey inside to Camp, blocked by Nethercott. His bench has got to get more excited about that. 3 off the mark from Watts. Clayton comes away with the offensive board. Here's Kemp. 1-foot jumper won't go. And it's Dawson with the board. Quickly down the floor with the Mustangs. Nethercott, baseline J. And it's back to a 6-point lead, 10-4, just inside of 3 minutes here in the first quarter. Armitstead. Now Dallin Watts in the corner to Obrey. Nice ball movement. And Jacoby Kemp. And Jacoby with his first point, 10-6. Schwab, a deep 3 from Jensen. Watts clears it. Armitstead. Back rim on the 3. Obrey keeps it alive. Nice jackknife shot. Armitstead couldn't get the fall, and it'll be 2 free throws for Boston Armitstead. And Armitstead split. Hits both free throws. A 2-point ball game, 2:15 remaining. Schwab inside out, Smith now to Dawson. Nice defense by Watts, but will stay here. Up top with Jackson Brenchley. Brenchley with the blow-by. Couldn't get the left-hand layup to go. Rebound collected by Chandler Obrey. On the push now with Armitstead. Into Kemp. Nice positioning. And Jacoby Kemp ties us up at 10. Schwab. Oh, that's a fancy pass. And Walentine lays it up and in. Knew he was a magician on the gridiron, but showing something there on the hardwood. Speaking of Tanner Schwab, if he hadn't been in 5A, Schwab would have been a chance to be an all-state quarterback. 5A was just littered with great quarterback play this year. Brenchley on the push off the miss. Smith for 3. And it's a rebound claimed by Armitstead. Boston, coast to coast, looking for Kemp. And we got a kick ball, and we'll stay here. Watts will inbound. 1:02 remaining in the first quarter. Try to go back inside to Watts. Nice hustle by Clayton, but we'll go the other way with Mountain Crest. Here comes Schwab. Oh, nice find inside, and Kai Nethercott lays it up and in. 14-10, 45 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Here's Watts. Watts for 3. Dallin Watts dials one up from long distance. And a inbound off the mark from Dawson. Armitstead going to hang on to it. Smith comes away with it. Here comes Brenchley. No foul on the bump from Kemp. Seen that a lot this weekend. Brenchley loses the handle on the drive. And we will go the other way with the Lancers. 15 seconds on a rolling clock in the first quarter. Now down to 10. Obrey send out Watts for 3. Rattles out this second. And we got a foul on the rebound. And that will go against Jaron Clayton. And it'll be the 4th team foul on Layton. Schwab gets past Watts. Count if it goes. Oh, he nearly got that thing to fall. And after one, it's Mountain Crest 14, Layton 13. Start of the second quarter. And we start with Layton. Armitstead tried to go someone who wasn't home. Jensen on the other end, he had to be hearing the footsteps of Jacoby Kemp. Turn it over and we'll go back the other way. And Jacoby was sizing that ball up. No doubt about it. Hansen trapped on the angle. Armitstead inside out. Here's Obrey. Hansen for 3. Blake Hansen dials it up from the outside, and it's 16-14. Lancers take the lead. Kai Nethercott. And it's back Brenchley. Jackson, a quiet first quarter. Got a foul on the drive. It's a tough call on Blake Hansen. Will be inbound along the baseline. Schwab off the glass. And Tanner Schwab ties us up at 16. Armitstead. Here's Watts. Thought about the 3. Watts now pulls. Nice fight for the rebound as Brenchley coming away with it quickly ahead. Smith to Nethercott. Now Schwab finds the front of the iron, and a rebound claimed by Jacoby Kemp. Watts long range 2. Oh, gets the shooters, bounced up almost straight up in the air and came back down, and Layton reclaims the lead. 6 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Schwab has that ball poked away. Nice defense by Hansen. 3 from Jensen. And Obrey clears it out. Watts quickly ahead to Kemp. Couldn't get under control. And that ball out of bounds off of Armitstead, and we'll go the other way. 5:45 remaining in the first quarter and a 2-point lead for Layton. Pardon me, second quarter. Schwab outside, Brenchley for 3. Can't find the range thus far. Watts tracks it down but saves it in the hands of Jensen. Wallentyne kisses it off the glass. And Theron ties us up at 18. Hansen, now Kemp, fall away Jay, front rimmed. Here's Schwab, gets around, Obrey, count the bucket. And it'll be Tanner Schwab going to the line, and the foul will go to Chandler Obrey. So back up the floor we go with the Lancers. In the corner, 3 on the way, well short from Hansen. Obrey couldn't claim it. High post with Wallentyne. Nice job of Watts. Came knifing in to knock that ball away. Nice defense from Wallentyne, and we've got a kick ball, and we will stay with Layton. We'll have all 4 games for you tomorrow as well. Watts off the inbound. Watts lays it in. Landon was saddled with foul trouble last night, getting things going offensively tonight. Nice job by Brenchley. Takes a bump from Watts and finishes. And it's back to a 3-point lead, 23-20. 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Watts into Obrey. Faces up and knocks it down. Obrey had himself a night last night, especially that first half, but even at that, a personal performance and a tough loss, he played very, very well. And Theron Wallentyne continues to be impressive offensively with timely buckets. Last night he did the same thing against American Fork. Timely buckets that kept Mountain Crest in the lead and in that game. Watts can't find it again from the outside. Now quickly down the floor with Jackson Brenchley. Brenchley sends out 3 on the way. 3's just not falling. Not even for Theron Wallentyne. Brenchley leaves it short. Quickly down the floor. Watts send out 3 from Hansen. Offensive board from Camp. We had a jump ball situation. See what they call it. Called it out of bounds off of Mountain Crest, and we'll stay here with Layton. Watts for 3, and Dallin Watts hits his second. And we're tied at 25. Schwab inside out to Dawson. Nice defense. Wallentyne. Series of pump fakes, and Wallentyne will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. And that'll be the 17th foul on Layton. Kai Nethercott comes back on the floor as Wallentyne calmly knocks down both free throws. And it's 27-25. Hansen. Armitstead now on the baseline with Hansen. Ben Bailey. Watts again for 3. Rattles in and out, looking for his 3rd of the half. Here's Schwab. In the corner, Dawson. And we got over the back on Smith. And that will be the 14th foul on Mountain Crest. 2:04 remaining in the second quarter. Lancers playing much better here in the second quarter. Yesterday was a tough quarter as Copper Hills just got on fire. Won that quarter, I believe it was 22-5. Armitstead for 3. Boston Armitstead gives Layton the lead, 28-27 with 1:40 remaining in the half. Dawson weaving his way through, thought he'd get a call and didn't. On the push with Watts. Watts thought he would get a call and didn't. Nice job by Mountain Crest. Dawson does get the call, and he will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. So Brenchley comes back in for Schwab. Dawson got the first. Back rims the second. Rebound taken by Kai Nethercutt. Out to Brenchley. Pulls for three. Cannot find the range. Anybody in a white jersey having a hard time from deep. 1:05 now remaining in the half. And Hansen got a little excited, shuffled his feet. Too many steps, and we'll go the other way. So Schwab comes back in the game for Dawson inside of a minute remaining. 55 seconds remaining in the first half, pardon me. Nethercutt. Camp was right there waiting for him. Nethercutt got it through him. Thought he might have a +1 and didn't. 30-28 with 40 seconds remaining in the first half. Armitstead. Now Watts trying to get that ball to Kemp, poked away. 30 seconds. Brenchley loses the handle. He's got a scrum for the ball. All a series of hustle plays from Tanner Schwab. And Zach Smith lays it off the glass. It's a 4-point lead. Tough break for the Lancers. Cross court, that ball picked off by Schwab, but will stay here. Could not keep it in bounds. 10 seconds remaining. Three from Armitstead. Again finds the back of the buckle. 2 seconds. 1 second. Count if it goes. And Brenchley wide to the right. But after 2 quarters of play, it's the Mustangs 32, Layton 28. You're one. A balanced first half. Theron Wallentyne, the leading scorer for the Mustangs, who had 8 points. Kai Nethercutt had 6. Jackson Brenchley had 4 points in the first half. Did have 6 boards. Jensen trapped up top. Gets it back to Brenchley. Now Nethercutt. Got caught. Was in between trying to make a decision there. Drug his foot. And we'll go the other way with Layton. So back down the floor we go with the Layton Lancers. Boston Armitstead. Kemp pulls for 3. And Jacoby off the mark. Rebound to Dumuni. Lavani bringing it to the front court. Was saddled with foul trouble in the first half. Brenchley. 3 on the way from Jensen. Scramble on the floor. Dumuni comes away with the steal, and he's fouled. Watts thought he had tied him up, that he was on top of the ball. Oh, no. They did give him the jump ball. Watts in the corner. Had 10 points in the first half. Clayton, little mid-range J, couldn't go. Brenchley comes away with the loose ball. Nice take and finish by Jensen. And Landon Jensen extends the lead for the Mustangs, 34-28. Armitstead rolls down the lane, and it's blocked. Kai Nethercutt. Brenchley. Sent out Nethercutt for 3. And it'll be Watts with the board, quickly down the floor to Kemp. And Jacoby fouled by Kai Nethercutt. It'll be Jacoby Kemp going to the line to shoot 2. Watts can't get that to go. Rolls off. Brenchley quickly ahead. Dawson able to get between defenders, can't finish. And now quickly down the floor with Boston Armitstead. Boston down the lane, loses the handle. And they'll say off of Mountain Crest. Obrey, Camp to the rack. He's fouled. Thought I had a little bit of showtime there. But Camp will go to the line to shoot 2. and makes the second. 5-point ball game, 34-29. Up the floor now with Tanner Schwab. Outside to Jensen. Here's Schwab for three. Just cold from the outside are the Mustangs. Hold on to this 5-point lead. We've got a kick ball, and we'll stay here. Or pardon me, that was Layton. They were 0 of 12, speaking of Mountain Crest. Down the lane, Obrey couldn't finish. Camp with the board and the bucket. And it's a 3-point game, 34-31. Quickly ahead now to Tanner Schwab. Schwab inside out, Wallenstein. Now Jensen pulls for three. And Jensen gets the lid off the bucket when it comes to shooting from three. And it's 37-31, Mountain Crest. Up top with Jacoby. Here's Obrey, send out Watts for three. Dallin Watts can't get it to go, and the rebound claimed by Brenchley. Cleared on the floor now with Jackson. So his handle, oh, nice cut by Jensen. And Jensen fouled by Obrey. It'll be 2 free throws for Landon Jensen. Landon has one more. It's now 38-31. 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Up the floor with Watts. In the corner, Armitstead. And he gets it to go. Finds the back of the rim and it falls. Armitstead hits it. Coach Miller takes a timeout. 3:49 remaining in the third quarter. Mustangs 38, Lancers 34. Full timeout. We are back after the timeout. After the three from Layton and Kai Nethercott. Nice job of breaking the press and getting an easy deuce. And it's now back up to 6, 40-34. Watts now to Armitstead. Libby now in the corner to Clayton. Armitstead. Libby inside to Kemp. Kemp cannot hang on. They're called out of bounds off of Tanner Schwab, and will stay here. Armitstead, Watts now up top to Jacoby Kemp. Armitstead drives the lane. Nice job with a little pump fake, gets the bucket. Now 40-36. Schwab has that ball slapped away. I don't call it on the shot. There'll be 2 free throws coming the way of Tanner Schwab. The second crawls off. And down the floor we go with Layton. Jacoby Kemp. Clayton sends out Watts for three. Dallin Watts buries the triple. And it's a 2-point ball game. 41-39. Thought maybe they'd make Armitstead leave the floor, but they don't. And now a foul on Armitstead on the full court pressure. And that's the 13th foul on the Lancers. 2:37 remaining in the third quarter. Here's Schwab. Trap comes. Schwab has that one tipped. Libby and Clayton ran into each other. It would have been Layton ball. Dawson gets the ball to Nethercott. Nethercott gets Kemp off his feet. No call on the contact. Coach Buckmiller absolutely beside himself with no call. Down the floor, Watts splits the defense, and now a foul on Nethercott. Missed the first, and the second goes in and out. Tough trip to the stripe for Watts. Down the floor, Brenchley. Hands back, DeMooney. Try to get that ball on the Dawson. Nice defense. Brenchley for three. And no call on the contact. Can't get the bucket to drop. Ball still loose, taken by Schwab. A tough angled pass to Dawson. Schwab took a shot to the head. DeMooney, he walked. Shuffled his feet on the pump fake. As Ben Bailey brings it in the front court. Watts pulls for three. Dallin Watts from downtown. And it's now Layton 42, Mustangs 41. Mountain Crest has responded every time they've been in this situation. Schwab over to Brenchley. Brenchley put on the floor. No call on the contact. Down the floor we go with Kemp. Splits the lane, off the glass and in. .55 seconds remaining in the third quarter, 44-41. Layton with the lead. Great bounce back for these Lancers after no other way to put it, a drumming from Copper Hills in the first game for them in the tournament. Dawson draws the foul, will go to the line to shoot two. Really played very, very well after the first quarter to run away from Layton. Now a 1 point game, 44-43, 43 seconds remaining in the third quarter. We'll see if Coach Miller wants the last shot. Kemp in the lane, one hand, crawls off, rebound taken by Dawson. 25 seconds remaining in the quarter. Fans want double dribble, but it was knocked out of his hands by Kemp. Got a foul on Clayton, I believe, is who will go on. Here's Dawson with 20 seconds. Travel, got caught. He was trying to make the pass. Got caught when nobody was home. And we'll go the other way with Layton. 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Ben Bailey to Watts. Looking for his fourth three. Back rim. Rebound taken by Schwab with 3 seconds, 2 seconds. One, he'll count if it goes. And we head to the fourth quarter. Layton with a 1 point lead, 44-43 over Mountain Crest. Start of the fourth quarter. What has been a back and forth affair. Really thought Mountain Crest was going to pull away, but just has not been able to offensively get going the way that they played yesterday. Is Dawson listens to what I say and gives Mountain Crest a 1 point lead, 45-44. Watts over to Libby. In the corner to Clayton, pulls for three. And it's DeMooney with the board. Now Brenchley. Been a tough day in the office for Jackson Brenchley. Needs to get going. There he goes. 2 buckets to open up the quarter. Been trying to hit the outside shots. The threes were not falling. Nice job of stepping inside the arc and burying the long range two. Watts. He's had a pretty good day with 3 threes. Libby in the corner underneath the Watts. DeMooney right there. Watts had nowhere to go with it. Somehow got that up on the rim. Dawson on the push. He had Smith. There he is. Smith with the flyby and the bucket. That's why we highlighted Zach Smith yesterday. Caught some flack from some Mustang fans. I understand. Jackson Brenchley's the best player on the team. But it is Zach Smith's bucket that forces a timeout from Layton. 49-44, 6:24 on a rolling clock here in the fourth quarter. Kemp hanging up top. Now to Jaron Clayton. Chandler Obrey, been quiet today. Obrey can't get it, gets his own board, loses the handle on it. Now on the push with Brenchley. Jackson down the lane, got bumped, there's the call. Go to the line to shoot two. And the second. So 51-44 the lead. for the Mustangs. 6:01 remaining in the fourth quarter. Up the floor of Boston Armitstead. Now Dallin Watts. Armitstead along the baseline. Obrey, Watts wanted to pull for three. Wisely hangs on. Watts back to Armitstead. Obrey. Fall away, no. Clayton tried to save it in. Now Obrey does, right in the hands of Brenchley. Brenchley going right on Armitstead. Probably at the free throw line. Yes, he will. It'll be 2 free throws for Jackson Brenchley. Rattles it home. 6 points in the quarter for Jackson. And it's a 9-point lead, 53-44. Watts, again, hangs on. Kemp down the lane, can't get it, gets a call. It'll be 2 free throws for Jacoby Kemp. But they broke up the city of Layton, with Northridge staying in Region 1. And Layton moved down to Region 2. Mountain Crest gets to hang out with all their Cache Valley buddies as a couple of new high schools will be coming. They'll be changing some things up here in the next couple of years. Brenchley can't get the layup to go, and it's Nethercott with the board and bucket. And rumor has it we'll have Logan back in with everybody. There's Logan now at 3A and everybody else but 5A. Everybody else being Skyview and Mountain Crest. Watts, a deep three, Dallin Watts. Showing some range on that one for Watts. Knocks that away from Brenchley, but will stay with the Mustangs. Schwab takes a bump from Clayton. It would have been foul number 5 had they whistled it. Schwab, nice ball fake. Misses the bucket. Clayton with the board. On the run now with the Lancers. Armitstead. Watts looking for number 5. Dallin Watts. His 5th three-pointer of the ball game. And it's a 3-point game. 4:18 remaining in the fourth quarter. Mustangs 55, Lancers 52. Back-to-back trays from Dallin Watts. It was a comfortable lead not that long ago. Brenchley goes right at Kemp, and it goes in and out. Down the floor we go. Chance to get down by 1 or tie. And here's the guy to do it. Watts to Armitstead. Cross court to Clayton. Watts to Armitstead. Armitstead will pull for 3. Off the mark. Rebound to Obrey. And Obrey with the board and bucket. And it's a 1-point game, 55-54. Watts knocks it out of bounds, but will stay with the Mustangs. The effort says a lot about what Coach Miller is doing with this team. Said yesterday they really got their, after the first quarter, it was all Copper Hills. And the way Layton has bounced back, because it's been that way at the beginning of the year against Lone Peak and others. Been a tough start to the season. Dawson goes right at Kemp, can't get the call, and will stay here. His last opportunity, took a little bit of a bump. I thought Kemp did a good job of just not forcing contact. And then you get the call here on the baseline. Back rim. Rebound still loose. Nice save by Smith. And timeout, Coach Buck Miller. They'll have 2 remaining in the ball game, 3:16 remaining. Brenchley holding up top. Mustangs a chance to get 3, possibly 4. Nice hustle by Watson Armitstead. Gets it off to Smith. Smith to Brenchley. Brenchley off the window and in. And it's a 3-point lead. 57-54, 2:50 on a rolling clock in the fourth quarter. Armitstead been a quiet night. Watts has 5 trays on the evening. Lob in to Jacoby Kemp, fall away. Jay too strong. Dawson on the push, he's got numbers. He's got Smith, there he is. Smith lays it in. Just like that, back up to 5 points, 59-54. A deep 3 from Watts. Watts get on the floor, ball still loose, and it's Kemp coming away with it. Nice hustle. Dawson, everybody for the Mustangs and the Lancers get on the floor. Armitstead floated up. Brenchley can't hang on to the board. It's Watts. Now Kemp. DeMooney right there with him. Kemp in the corner. Armitstead buries the three. Boston Armitstead makes it a 2-point ball game. 59-57. 1:45 on a rolling clock here in the fourth quarter. Brenchley, trap coming. Sends it out to Nethercott. Back to Jackson. Watts with him. Jackson on the drive, sends out to Dawson. And now a bump from Armitstead, and it'll be free throws. And that's the 9th team foul. That is the 5th personal foul on Boston Armitstead. He's frustrated himself coming after the ball like that. Up the floor with Ben Bailey. Bailey off the screen to Kemp. Hanging on. Now Obrey. And we got a foul. Foul on DeMooney. Here's Watts. 1 minute remaining. Got a foul on the entry pass. And it'll be one-on-one free throws. And a lips out. Rebound still loose. Out of bounds off of Mountain Crest. And we'll stay with the Lancers. Let's get it into Clayton. Up top to Kemp. Drop it in Obrey. Obrey working on Dawson. Terminates. Got to get rid of the ball. Here's Clayton. Into Kemp. Kemp fouled by Schwab. It'll be 2 free throws coming away with Jacoby Kemp. 61-59, 40 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Here's Schwab. Trapped along the baseline. Timeout taken by Coach Buckmiller. 37.3 remaining in the fourth quarter. Kemp giving chase. Smith to Brenchley. Brenchley in the lane. Send back out to Zach Smith. Smith will drive. Smith hangs and it rolls in. That's a no, 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 yes moment for a coach. 15 seconds remaining. Here's Dallin Watts. Layton, they've got to get a quick bucket. They haven't done that all night long. Inside, Obrey lays it in, and a timeout taken by Coach Miller. 8 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter, and a 2-point lead for Mountain Crest. 63-61. Watch for the full court runner. There it is. Kai Nethercott. Nobody home with him. Nethercott going to go for the dunk, and it rolls off. 5 seconds remaining. And we got a foul by Nethercott in frustration. And a chance to tie on the other end of the floor. First free throws of the night for Jaron Clayton. 4 seconds remaining. 1-and-1 free throws. And it rolls off. Rebound to Brenchley, and Brenchley's fouled. It'll be 2 free throws on the other end of the floor. 2.8 remaining. And nobody more excited about that than Kai Nethercott. So Brenchley rattles it out. Timeout Layton, 2.5 remaining on the clock. Clayton's going to inbound it, but Watts and Bailey are sitting at midcourt. Looked like they were trying to go Valparaiso. Layton saying the ball was tipped and will inbound all the way on the other end of the floor. So Mountain Crest just needs to inbound the ball. 2.5 remaining. Got in another cut. He's fouled by Jacoby Kemp. 1.2 remaining. And Nethercott going to the line to put this thing away. 2 free throws. Nethercott missed the first free throws, got 1 more, made this a 3-point game. And he hits it. 64-61, a heave. We could be going to overtime. Watson's got to hit a 3 and can't get it off. And Mountain Crest survives a late rally from Layton to get a 64-61 win. And Mountain Crest will take on Davis tomorrow. Congratulations to Mountain Crest on the big win. Stay tuned for our post-game wrap-up. And welcome back into American Fork High School. Again, our final score, the Mountain Crest Mustangs 64, the Layton Lancers 61. A frustrating start to a season continues for Layton as they're unable to get off the schneid and get a nice win here. Really played really well. I think at the end of the day, Coach Miller going to be very pleased. No Blackman on the floor. Once again, still dealing with his wrist problems. But the bright spot tonight is Dallin Watts hit 5 threes, played outstanding basketball, hit big shots that really brought Layton back. But the Lancers just unable to make any mistakes from Mountain Crest hurt down the stretch. When your coach Grady Buckmiller, got to be pleased that your guys bounced back and played well. Jackson Brenchley really struggled in the first half getting his offense going, but in the second half got things going, especially in the fourth quarter. And Jackson Brenchley is our high school rewind player of the game from this ball game. Did an outstanding job in leading Mountain Crest to a nice win, and they'll play again tomorrow. We'll have it for you right here on highschoolrewind.com. Again, our final score, Mountain Crest 64, Layton 61. Our high school rewind player of the game, Jackson Brenchley. For Vince Francis, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us, and continue to follow our coverage of the 2015 Utah Elite Eight basketball tournament right here on highschoolrewind.com.